Hello and welcome back to the On Wrestling and to NXT Deadline 2025 out of 10, the last WWE PLE of the year. And of course, Deadline marks the Iron Survivor Challenge, two men's, one men and one women's match, and also some other very intriguing matches on there, such as the match that kicked off the show between Ricky Saints and Obafemi for the NXT Championship. And yes, Saints tried to go for one of Femi's legs right away, but the powerhouse easily tossed him aside. The champ looked hesitant at the challenger, backed him into the corner. The first few minutes made it look like it would be a walk in the park for Femi, but Saints kept finding ways to neutralise offence by focusing on arms and legs to take away his power. They took their time working up to the more exciting stuff. So the first half of the match felt a little slow. They started pacing up the around the halfway mark, and yeah, taking their time and building up their pace slowly allowed for them to sell each other and makes it feel like a hard-fought contest. There was no doubt this would be good, but it may have ended up surpassing their previous encounters. And a somewhat surprising outcome, Femi was able to regain the title with a fall from Grace. And you know, Saints' reign only lasted 2 months, slightly surprising, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe Saints goes up to the main roster. For me, that's always been the place for him. Femi against Cody as well is going to be a great match. So yeah, really looking forward to that. And yeah, I don't know. In some ways it does make sense, but in a way it was also surprising. 6 out of 10. We then got the Women's Iron Survivor match between Jordan, Vice, Gray, Rooker and Grace. And yeah, it was up next. Jordan and Gray were the first two superstars in the ring. They spent the entire 25 minutes in the ring. And, you know, here's a rundown quickly who got the pins. Gray pinned Jordan, Jordan then pinned Gray, Vice pinned Gray, Gray pinned Grace, Grace pinned Jordan, Rooker pinned Jordan, Rooker pinned Vice, Jordan pinned Grace, Grace pinned Jordan, Vice pinned Gray, and Gray pinned Vice, if you can keep up with that. The match format's unconventional, but the 5 women did a good hand in making it work. It was all hard to pick a standout because I thought all women did well. They ended up in a 5-way tie with 2 pins each with 2 minutes to go. Gray was able to score the 1 pinfall as the time ran out to become the new champion, new number 1 contender. And yeah, to be honest, I thought, you know, probably one of my favourites to win going into it. And yeah, I'm pretty happy that she did win, to be honest. I really like her. I think she's got a lot of potential. I think that match could be very, very interesting indeed. 6 out of 10. Next up, it was the North American Championship match between Mr. Iguana and Ethan Page. The green grappler attempted to get into All Ego's head with some mind games, and it seemed to work at first. He had Page struggling to find his footing for the first few minutes. While a good portion of this bout was designed for comedy, they tried to mix in some wrestling. Unfortunately, had a couple of missteps. They eventually found their grooves, so the second half was better than the first. Mr. Iguana hit several high-flying moves that popped the crowd, and All Ego sold them perfectly. Despite a good effort from the challenger, Page was able to hit his finisher for a clean win to retain the North American Championship. And overall, yeah, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. A pretty fun match. Obviously, a few got there as early on, but I think they recovered it pretty well. And you know, as always, you knew what you were going to get from this match, and that's exactly what we got. Before we moved on to Izzy Dane versus Tatum Paxley, Paxley obviously looking for revenge. Sean Spears and Nico Vance tried to distract Paxley, but it didn't work. Dane looked like she was going to comfort Paxley as she cried, but the former champ turned her sadness to anger and hit a few punches. Dame tried to trick her into a hug at ringside so she could throw her into the steel steps. Dame had control for a long time, but Paxley eventually began building some momentum. The match had a lot of aggression, but it fell a bit short compared to everything else we saw on the card. They may have focused too much on the story, not enough maybe on the in-ring action. Thanks to the distraction from Spears, Dame was able to hit her finisher to get the pin and the win. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. It wasn't bad, but maybe just not quite at the level of the other stuff we saw. And then on to the men's Iron Survivor between Hendry, Evans, Slater, Lennox and Miles Bourne. Slater and Evans were the first 2 superstars in the ring, and the pins: Evans pinned Slater, Lennox pins Evans, Hendry pinned Bourne, Slater pinned Hendry, Bourne pinned Lennox, and Evans pinned Bourne. The match didn't pack as many pinfalls as the women's bout, but it made each pin feel more important. Both bouts felt competitive for different reasons, which was great because it stood out for different reasons. Much like the women's match, it was a 5-way tie heading into the last few minutes. Lennox locked one of the refs and Evans in the penalty box, but Evans escaped through opening top and took him down with a dive. It was genuinely hard to tell who would win at the end, but Evans came and scored the win with a few seconds left. I thought this was a great match. All superstars contributed. For me, the right winner as well. And yeah, for me, probably the best match of the night. 8 out of 10. An overall Deadline gets a 6 out of 10 from me. I thought, yeah, it was a pretty decent show. I mean, there was lots of good stuff on there. That left me intrigued. Obviously, Tony D coming off at the end, attacking Joanne Evans, Femi in there as well. We've definitely got our next few months of storyline written there. And yes, some intriguing stuff in the women's division too. So 6 out of 10. So that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on our socials. Link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.